Once again, you are welcome to this channel, Inside Customer. Today, I have another guest, a prominent guest in the house, by the name Engineer Stephen Bolawole. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Engineer.
Can you please introduce yourself and give us a summary of your career?
Okay. My name is Engineer Stephen Olugbenga Bolawole. I'm a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. I'm also a senior member of the Shelter Institute of Power Engineers. I'm also a member of the Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Engineers, among others. I started my career. Normally, I have to go to primary school. I went to a primary school in Ondo Methodist 2 primary school in Ugbo. After that, I went to the prestigious Owo High School. And in those days, it is either Owo High School or nothing else. So I left Owo High School in the year 1993, and I did science courses. During that time, I didn't know what I wanted to study anyway, because in those days people want you to study medicine or nothing else. But at a point, I had to change my mind, because earlier on my parents convinced me to become a medical doctor, maybe being the first son of the family. But something happened that changed my mind from medicine. That was the fact that that particular year that I did my WAEC, my brother, my immediate brother, fell sick, was admitted into an hospital. I began to see the way the doctors behave. There was a doctor then that said my parents should go and do one test in Benin. And I want to tell you that till the boy died, they did not see the result of the test. It was nowhere to be found. So all of this made me to become so angry that what kind of industry is that? So to me, I hate medicine. But recently I'm beginning to get over that. So after my WAEC, I got my papers, and what came to my mind that time was I want to do engineering. Nothing informed it anyway. But that time I always want to do the best course. I want to do the hardest thing. And having mingled with some elders, those times we call them elders. Those guys are gone ahead of us. During the days. So, what course do you think is most challenging? Engineering. Okay, I want to do engineering. What is I want to do engineering? Which part of engineering do you want to do now? I begin to look. Those days in our brochure, the JAM brochure, you have courses listed there in hard copy. So I was looking at those engineering, looking at them. So I now saw this one, electrical and electronics engineering. Two combined. I will go and do this one. This is what I want to do.
You want that, so
I want that. So that was informed me to do that. And in that particular year, I tried to get admission to FUTA. I filled electrical electronics, but eventually I was doing physics electronics. Then I also did that of poly. That time it was not combined, it was separate. So I did that of poly, and I did not even know where poly was, and they sent the admission letter to my mailbox to come and do electrical engineering. So confusion came again. I started moving about, looking for who will mentor me. I began to ask some Engr people to look at they giving me admission in FUTA, electronics. This one they gave me admission in electrical engineering. Some of them said, go to university. Some people said, this one is engineering, go and do engineering. So when I got home, I remember my dad asked me, I did not go to university. I said, no, Dad, I will go and study electrical engineering in Poly. And he said, it's your choice, When he said, it's your choice, I didn't understand. Because that time my dad was also a civil servant. So I didn't understand, it's your choice. But because I was the one that said I would do it, I said I will go and do it. So whatever happens, I will face it. That's one of the things that gave me opportunity to really face the challenges head-on afterward. So with that, I entered Ondo State Polytechnic. When I got to Ondo State Polytechnic, I remember some of my mates who come and visit me there from Ife, from all this and so on. Then they went to Poly. We are in the event. We are in this. I remember one of my friends that came to me sometime and said, he studied fine art in Ife. And he came to me and he said, see, we are creative. What do you call yourself? You know those things there. So I got to my room again, I felt challenged. I said, no, I'm going to face this thing. I don't really know what was pushing me anyway. So I faced it. And by the grace of God, I finished my ND. When I finished my ND, I wanted to do direct entry. That was not happening because of financial issues and so on. Later, I have to manage myself, go back to Federal Poly and do it. Okay. Because of financial issue too. So I entered Federal Poly. Another thing that also for me that time was I begin to hear again that specialties, okay, power and machine. Power and machine. You know that name, power and machine. Okay, I will do this one. So I decided to specialize in power and machine. So it was when I got into this power and machine that I began to know that power and machine has to do with this generation, transmission and distribution thing, all this line you are seeing. So they are power and machine thing. So anytime I'm traveling to Lagos, that I will just look at it. I'll be looking at communities that are yet to develop. One day, this community, they will build houses here, and they will need electricity. Yes. I will have job if I finish. Okay. I will also encourage myself. I will see job. Even if I'm not being employed by anybody, I can begin to move from houses to houses, help them to wire their houses. And then there will be job. So from there, I begin to see, okay, what if I graduate and there is no job? What will I do? So from then, I begin to identify problems. And I also know that there is this thing that's embedded in me that I always want to solve problems. But even right from my secondary school, I have this slogan that there's no problem without a solution. So that also helped me. So when I graduated, I went to service. I served in the Kutuba barrack. When I got to Jos, I was posted to local government. So when I got to local government, all this nothing. You don't do anything. So I decided to change that I would go and serve in the classroom where I would be able to teach people physics and mathematics. But even prior to that time, people were calling me God of Maths, God of Mathematics. So I was doing that. I would teach people. I also have my private lessons. I was doing that. People hardly know that I was a cover because they see me very buoyant. And I also employ other core members to come and teach in my private lesson. So then after service year, I came back. Went to Lagos, tried to look for a job, it was not coming. And then I have to come back to Ondo State. And eventually I got my first job for the first time. Ondo State Electricity Bureau. There also I met a lot of challenges, some people ahead of me. Then it's your choice that my dad said that time now came to me. Face to face. So when I got there, I discovered that when you go to polytechnic and you are coming into the civil service, you are not going to be employed as an engineer. So immediately I saw that. Okay. Don't forget, I also know that there's no problem without a solution. Okay, what is the way out? Okay, the way out is to go back to university, do what we call they call it a bridge course. Yes. Your postgraduate diploma. Go and do that. Okay, I said that's the issue. Don't worry now, go and take form. So I went back. I did that before you know it. I got converted to the engineer killer. And I was doing my thing. Now the career, one of the good things that I always tell people is I was made to serve under people who did not go to school. And I did not allow that to affect me because I need to know.
Those are the people you met on the job.
Yes, I need to know how to do it. So that when I know how to do it, I cannot blend it with my why that I learned in the university. So there's why, there's a place of why, and there's a place of how. You cannot separate the two. And the how, you cannot get it from the four walls of the classroom. That has to do with experience. People that have done it, they know how they are doing it, but they don't know why they are doing it. So I have to patiently learn from them. Most of the time we go to site as a level 8 officer then. I will dig hole. At a point people said, engineers don't climb pole. Engineers, you know they call us engineers. Engineers don't climb pole. Engineers don't dig. And I will dig. I need to dig so that I will know how you feel, how you are doing it. I will climb pole. I remember one challenging job that time around Oseoba. We were to go and reactivate that route because President Obasanjo was coming to Ondo State that time. He needed to give some community their electricity. So we got there. One of our technicians, was the champion. That linesman that time was the champion. So when we got there, he was behaving funny and like we want people to come and beg him before he can climb the pole. I just told them, please stand the pole. They were looking at the engineer. Stand the pole, stand the ladder, sorry. And they stood the ladder. And I climbed. So when I climbed, I removed that wire. By the time I removed the wire, I just climbed down and I said, climb. He did not hesitate. He climbed immediately, because he knew that
they will do it if he does not do it.
Yeah, and that would,
and his job will be at stake.
So I did that. Then most of the time when we go to sites, you can hardly separate us. And I was gaining that experience, not knowing that I was actually doing it for myself. So at a point, it became so clear that I've already mastered what I was doing. I remember I was also posted to government house and governor's office to man that place. When I got there, the way these people that did not go to school arrange their things and so on. So they did not do well there. The technical expertise was not there, but they know how to do the job. So when I got there, I rearranged the place administratively, and I also learned from them. It is not easy trying to be a boss and trying to learn from them. That's one aspect that I will also need to beg the upcoming engineers to be careful. Don't say you are a boss. What I did when I got there to take over the place. There was a man there, this PWS, they call them.
PWD.
No, PWS.
Okay, you always PWS.
Yes, they call themselves. So he was there, principal was superintendent. So he was there. So immediately he saw me as a threat. This person is coming to take over his job. So when I got there, there's this attitude of them that you also know that they want to feel important. So I gave it to him. I was supposed to take over the table that he was using. I did not. So he was seeing me that this guy is bad. Because I remember he called me outside sometimes. I said, when I was coming, people said I was coming to take over this thing, that he was also prepared, to show you. So how will I come and take over like that? Because he knows where the switches are, he knows where the breakers are,
yes.
He knows what he put there. So I will just come now and take over.
And he can manipulate it.
I will fail. So I did not do that. I allow him to man the place. He was there. We were like that. So I was learning. I think it took me like 1 year. I did not do anything. But this particular day, they also have their own funny attitude. This particular day, because we are also in charge of the State Executive Council room where the State Exco meets.
Yes.
So there was this particular day I was called from the meeting. His Excellency Olugbenga Bolawole was seated in that meeting, and do you know that it was the AC directly behind him? I don't know, maybe they removed it, I don't know what happened. The AC was not working. And I was called directly from that office. You know, we have this table line. So they called the office. I was the only one in the office. So when they called the office, I told them we are coming. I started looking for my people. I didn't see them. I was looking for them. I didn't see them. This is a serious issue. I took my plier, I took the tester, took some other equipment, I went there boldly. You can imagine Mr. Governor sitting down and you need to walk at a meter speed behind him. And the commissioner supervising your office is also seated in that same school meeting. But I was able to do it. After I finished it, I remember my commissioner then, Mr. Obasanjo, turned up like this. So I left. When I left, when they came, I sat them down. That was the day I took over that thing. I told them that this is sabotage. I knew what you were up to, but I have corrected it. But today, I'm going to exert my authority. So that was our.
So can you tell us the most significant challenges that shaped your career?
Well, I would say my life in Brussels, I was saddled with a lot of responsibility, which I also know that I needed to sharpen my axe to be able to accomplish. And I also see people that have gone ahead of me, and I see the way they handle their jobs. So all of this challenge me. Then there was a man that I always hear about when I was in Brussels that actually moved himself from Ministry of War to that place and started a Nobel team and so on. And that also challenged me. How did he challenge me? This is it. I'm an engineer. Some people have passed through Brussels and they are dead. Today, if they should wake up, the way we were doing our things that time, they will say fitting. And I keep on saying that. If they fit in perfectly, or trying to tell us that we are not doing well, this is the way to do it, then that means we are not doing anything. We are not developing. But they should wake up and come to see what we are doing and say they are confused and go back to sleep. Because we have gone ahead to do things differently. That's challenging. Because as at that time, we were not doing things differently. We were doing things the way they were doing it. And we are entering different centuries. So there is a need to do a new thing. And that challenged me. And that made me to go back to school. After my PhD, I had to go and do my master's. And I decided to choose Akure University because I know there I'll be so close to the lecturers, unlike the public university. That really shaped my life and changed everything entirely. Not knowing that I'm still going to get a more challenging job, but I thank God that I have to take that decision, and it's definitely.
That's good. Once more, engineer, if you find yourself in a complex situation, what approach do you use to solve that situation?
Yes, I've said it. That my slogan has never changed, and it's still working. That there's no problem without a solution. And I have this attitude. If I give you a job, I already have alternative. If I give you a job to go and do for me, I already have 1,001 way that I want to do it myself. So I always prepare that somebody will fail me, and failure is not in my dictionary.
In the field of electrical engineering that you are, can you tell us some skills that are necessary for one to survive or excel?
Yes, in the field of electrical engineering, like when we were in the secondary school, I remember somebody said that if you make mistake somewhere, I don't know, I've forgotten that place, that you can see the cover up, but that in kanji dam, that was how I said. Is that if you make mistake in kanji dam, you are not the one that will come and tell people the story. Somebody will learn from your mistakes. You understand? So that also shaped my life. That okay, let me not make mistake. And how I have to open my eyes to see people that are doing it well. In this my office now, I have a lot of online friends. Even sometimes I will now need to go and check their profile to shut them up. Sometimes I call them, I beg them, please don't be annoyed, though. I need advice. I need your experience. I need your effort. I want you to tell me about this, about this, about this. So in this profession, you need to have a lot of mentors. You need to have a lot of advisors. But once you make a mistake, it can cost people their life. So that is what I think is better for people that are coming.
Then also, during your course of career as you were climbing on the ladder, definitely there will be challenges that look like failure. So how do you turn it into success? Can you share that with us?
That's also a very good question. That to me, I see every challenge as an opportunity to go further. I also have this in my dictionary too, that I don't call problem. I call it challenge. I'm also a Christian, and anytime I read the Bible, they pass through it. So passing through it means they actually went through something. And the Bible will also tell you that, and it came to pass. So if you already know at the beginning that it came to pass, it means that it has already passed. So what you just need is start looking for the solution. And the solution is always in this world. It's not outside the world. But you just need to know the right button to press.
Yes. Okay. For an upcoming professional in your field, or a student that is aspiring to become an electrical engineer, what is your advice for them?
Yes, my advice for them is not.
That's a 2-1 question.
Yes, my advice for them is not to. Yes, the YDS is okay, it's fine, but that is not the success. The success lies in the fact that you should know that you are a learner.
Okay.
You are not a learned. A learned has know it all, but a learner will always open to learning. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still pursuing a PhD in electrical. My daughter sometimes sent a message to me that, Dad, in fact, I think on my birthday, Dad, having gotten all these things that I'm saying, that time I was the chairman of Nigeria, so I thought, okay, you have gotten this, you have gotten this, you have gotten this. You are still doing PhD. The PhD you are doing is challenging me now. Me too, I will not stop. I will go beyond PhD. You know, so you have to keep on learning. You have to keep on learning. Keep on learning, because your learning should not be only in the academy. Even if you are in the academics, you also learn from some people.
Definitely.
Don't say because maybe you are the VC now. I don't know whether that one is possible anyway. That they take you from BSc now, you now become the VC of a school, and you think that you are now better than all of them. You still need to learn from them. When you came into this office, you met some of my officers here.
Yes.
There was a letter that we're supposed to have attended to. I have to call them. That how do you think we should respond to this letter? I was asking them.
But that means you're a team player.
You know, because I want them to also tell me. And honestly speaking, I was confused. I don't know how to really attend to it. But by the time we were discussing, we found out, okay, there's a solution.
Then also, can you share with us a very strong experience you had that really, you know, in a way that your organization looks at you and said, is this really Engineer Bolawole?
Did I get that question?
Okay. What I'm trying to say is that let's look at, can you share an example, apart from what you have said so far, we want a professional experience that really, you know, I would say this is Engineer Bolawole's work.
Okay, well, if I understand, I know that the present terrain that we find ourselves now is a novel thing in Nigeria, and that has to do with the regulatory aspect of the electrical engineering. It's a novel idea, and even more novel in Ondo State, because Ondo State started the crusade. Now other states are taking it up. Well, what really helped me was the fact that I was given to, just like you said, team player, I was given to that idea that, okay, we have people who also share the same vision that we are trying to do in Ondo State. And I did not hesitate by traveling to meet them, by calling them, by talking to them. And today, I also have people who are my mentors, even though I'm not paying them, who are my mentors that I look up to, I ask them questions, and they are really mentoring us. And most of the time too, I was given to read this. I've never traveled out, but I know what is happening in India. I know what is happening in UK. I have online people that I switch on to and they mentor.
The world is a global village.
Yes. So, and whatever they are doing there, I feel we can also do here. So some people will look at me and say, this man, are you the same person? I remember when I was doing my 50th birthday, somebody was speaking there and said, when you look at me, or sometimes when they hear me speak, is it the same person that were yourself together? I don't know why it's happening. I don't know why it's happening, but I know that God is really helping us. But it's not that we just sit down and it will come, but it is born out of hard work.
So that means for you to stay relevant,
you need to update yourself
and training.
And you should not, don't blame the government that government did not send you for training. The government, no. Of course,
train yourself.
Train yourself. I always tell people, train yourself, except if you feel you don't need it. How will it be if I'm called upon to come and deliver a lecture? Don't forget I said it's a novel thing, and people are looking at Ondo State. And now I'm being called upon to come and deliver a lecture on regulatory somewhere. And I just got there, I begin to make blabbing, and at the end of the day, they ask me, why? It's the state government that did not train me. That is wrong.
Thank you for that. Then also, I believe that in every profession there are misconceptions. Is there any one that you know of that you want to just clear in electrical engineering or in engineering generally?
Well, in engineering generally, people misconstrue the fact that there is a superior engineering profession. This one is not superior, this one is. Well, I was chairman of the Nigeria Society of Engineers, and I saw it clearly that it's like a mirage. It doesn't happen. So people are just trying to misconstrue things. So that one has been laid to rest. Then in the electrical engineering family, people also have this misconception that electrical engineering is basically for the smart one, the smartest one, or how do I put it now? It is not also. It is not also. Then people also have misconception that it's only the people that went to university that can become better engineers. It is not also possible.
Okay. Thanks for that. Then on the lighter mood now, maybe I should just ask you, what do you do apart from when you're not doing anything engineering, when you're not climbing ladders, when you're not designing, or when you're not an administrator, what do you do to relax?
Well, the way you finish it now, I'm saying relax.
Yes.
Well, I play football.
Okay.
Still an active footballer.
Footballer.
Yes. And I also go to church. I'm an active Christian. And what other things now? I'm very close to my family.
Everybody's going back to family.
Yes.
Okay. Assuming you are asked now that if you were to meet an innovator or a professional now, who will that person be and why?
Engineer Raf Adiola Alabi, pleasant memory. Why of the Nigerian Society of Engineers? Why? During my days, after my MD days, I had this, my brother, my uncle in Lagos. I would go to him. So he worked with Guinness. So anytime I'm reading their bulletin, I will see this name, Engineer Raf Adiola Alabi. So I read his biography. He started from technical college, moving on like that. And that time I was in ND, national. I was trying to do my national diploma. So I look at that. This person can encourage you. This person can encourage you. But the man died in 2009. So I was thinking that I will be able to meet him one day to tell him that you actually inspired my life.
Your career?
My career was normal. Was a mechanical engineer. And this. Later I got to know that he was from Akure. That time I didn't know. He was the first chief engineer, first black chief engineer in Guinness. Later he rose to become their chairman. The first.
Okay. What is the fun fact about you that people don't know?
Well, they don't know that I am a funny man. They don't. People think that I'm very strict. People think that when you see my face, this man is like a soldier. But moving close to me, you also know that I can joke a lot. So that one is leading, I know. So even sometimes at home, my father will just look at me. And people don't know that this man you are friendly. They don't know, but they won't know.
So that means when we have any program with f.n.s.e, I can do our stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we end the program, sir, there is one thing I want you to just share with the viewers at home. There has been this noise sometimes early this year about ODATIWA Meter. There's a meter in Ondo State that people come and buy. What is it about, and how should they go about it?
Okay. ODATIWA Meter. The journey started immediately we assumed office here. That was February 2021. When we got to this place, we discovered that people are not being metered by the distribution company. Every now and then people complain, they write letter. I think in the space of 6 months we received over 1,000 complaints. Mm-hmm. And we decided to approach the DISCO, give people meter. All we had was there was no meter. And we now look at our law and say, is it not possible to get meter? So we started putting our papers together, trying to write regulation and so on. And we even have people that volunteer to come and give us meter at that time for our people. But the DISCO refused to allow them to. Okay? We move from there. So immediately the present governor came on board and we presented that to him. He embraced it. But that was what we needed to even move forward. We need a political will. So when he embraced it, we started inviting people, vendors to come and talk about meter here. We were talking about it. So even at that time, there were these challenges, internal challenges. And it got to a time I was even reported to Mr. Governor the misconstrued some things, and they were saying the BDC wrote and said we want to cost them their revenue. That's why we want to do it. And I remember the language of Mr. Governor there. I said he's confused that people want to give you meter, and you are saying it will affect your revenue. How will they affect your revenue? You know.
I think that was the initial obligation.
Thank God for the man who that would give one affect your revenue. So he sent them and well like that. Eventually, it was in this office we christened it ODATIWA Meter program. You know, we are regulators, we are not supposed to be in the buying and selling.
Yes.
All we just need to do is to create the regulation, and it happened, and we send it to Ondo State Power Company, which is the business arm of government. It's there. Today, all the teething problems have gone. People want to get their meter, they go there, they pay. When they pay, single phase, three phase. I think single phase now is 120, and three phase is 220. So when they get there, they pay. If they have a BDC account before, they take it there, they give them meter, or ask somebody to go and install for them.
Thank you for that insight. And dear viewers at home, we are nearing the end of this program. It has been insightful with Engineer President Bolawole, the person in charge of Ondo State Electricity Bureau. And before we go, we have a culture in this program, before we round up. And what is the culture? We give gifts to our guests. The gift might look small, but just to remind us of where we are coming from. And I believe you know that when you were starting your engineering career, you were using a pencil. So that's the gift we are going to give you. This is a class pencil. So this is a token of our appreciation for your time and for allowing us to come and interview you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I really want to appreciate you for this gift. And I want to pray that what you have started will go a long way in helping and reshaping, especially the future of the upcoming professionals.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
So viewers at home, thank you. That has been Engineer President Bolawole.